right, what's up, Bears fans? Usayd Koshul here, live from the Bear Report YouTube channel. Got about 5 to 6 weeks until the 2024 NFL Draft begins, which means that it is officially, for me, mock draft season. A handful of things to note. I've run a couple mocks, but I've kind of just posted them on my social media accounts. So on my Twitter as well as my Instagram, which are all right here. I'm most active on Twitter, by the way, but you can follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Usayd Koshul. Go ahead and check out my work on the Bear Report website. A lot of different, articles, scouting reports, a whole bunch of stuff dropping nearly every single day. So a couple things to note here with this mock draft, and the mock drafts I do move forward, but I'm going to be doing about 1 to 2 simulations a week, posting them on YouTube, running through as many different scenarios for the Bears to consider as I possibly can. I also, to be fully honest with you, looking at this treasure chest of picks right here. So you've obviously got 4 picks. This factors in the Keenan Allen as well as the Justin Fields trades. So I am going to be open to trades, and whatever trades and selections I make, I am going to be breaking down. So let's just kind of get right into it. Obviously, you've got the first overall pick. The Rams are not giving up enough, so hell no. The Saints, absolutely not either. I'm going to go with the consensus number 1 pick, which I do believe is going to be Caleb Williams. All right, now 9 overall is where it gets really interesting, because if you followed my work all off season, I've kind of alluded to how talking to people around the Bears organization, talking to people around the league, I mean, it just seems like they are going to trade out of 9 overall. So this Detroit offer is very kind of intriguing here to consider, but I don't think the Bears go from 29 or from 9 to 29. I'm sorry, right? The Jets offer. Okay, so this is one that I honestly would consider because you get your 3rd round pick at 372. So in this scenario, you'd have 110, 72, and 75, which would give you 4 picks in the top 100. The Bears currently have 3. Okay, Green Bay, hell no, for obvious reasons. So let's look at this last one here. Yeah, the Browns, hell no. So I'm actually going to go here, and again, this is more quantity here, the Lions pick, but we're going to go with quality. So I'm going to trade down 1 spot and take the Jets pick here. And now all of a sudden, the Bears are on the clock again. Okay, so this is where, let me just get this stupid ad out of the way, but the Bears do have a need at pass rusher, right? So let's go here and let's kind of look at what's here. I'm going to go with Jared Verse from Florida State, okay? And then just continuing to see here on the right side of the board, who's on the board, who's off the board, kind of who's falling, okay? There's been a lot of people who have been like, well, why not take a wide receiver in that top 10? I mean, to be fully honest with you guys, with the Keenan Allen trade, I do think the Bears have a lot of flexibility at wide receiver, more so than people are willing to go and admit. And here we go. The Bears are on the clock again. So, yeah, this Miami offer, hell no. Okay, if anything, because I've got in this scenario, I've got 110, 72, 75, and 122. I'm trying to create more 24 capitals. So this one, yeah, see, this one would be me trading out of the 3rd round entirely. Well, out of 72 entirely. I kind of don't want that. But again, I'm going to go ahead and accept this anyway, because then I get, a 4th rounder, and then I have 2 back-to-back 5th rounders essentially. So that would give me a 4th rounder as well as 3 5ths here. So we're going to go ahead and accept this one. And again, you have, 75 overall here. So, ooh, this is a really intriguing one, right? I don't really like the way the board's falling, so I'm going to go ahead and take this offer too. So again, I traded down, a handful of times. Again, I'm not liking any of these, so I'm just going to reject them. So even with signing Gerald Everett, if you've been following along our work on the Bear Report YouTube channel all season, I talked to Eric Hunt, I believe is, or I'm sorry, Eric Henry's his name. He covers the Texas Longhorns. He had nothing but good things to say about Jatavian Sanders. I'm going to go ahead and add a guy that's a true H-back here in the offense in Sanders. And here we go. We're coming up again at 101. So, hey, this Chargers pick isn't bad. Well, let's see what else we got. Do I want the Patriots? Possibly. And I should note whatever trades I'm making, I'm most likely going to look at them for. If it's like multiple 2025 picks, then it's probably going to be a hell no for me. But yeah, let's look here. So Baltimore, not really. I think I'm going to go with this Patriots pick here because again, you're moving down 2 spots and you're picking up that extra 6th rounder. Okay, so oh, look, more trade offers. I will say the thing with this website is there's a lot of good stuff here, but yeah, I don't like any of these trade offers. So I want to continue to just round out some of the wide receiver depth. I'm gonna go with Devontae Walker, again, a guy who was incredibly productive, a bit of a speedster, and I think a guy who's not getting talked about enough. Okay, so now if you look at the draft capital, right? Again, we started with 4, we've got 110, 79, 103, 109. 122, 141, 142, 187, and 193. So that's 10 whole picks right there to go ahead and continue adding to a already young team. I will say, looking at some of these kind of selections, right? There's again pretty decent selection of guys here, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with Brandon Dolores. Again, pretty highly productive, not necessarily being talked about enough. So just shore up that edge depth there, kind of push a guy like Dominique Robinson to kind of ensure that he has a fire lit under him. Don't really like any of these offers. So now looking here, okay, where exactly is this Bears team at, right? So I thought about going with a backup quarterback, but I'm probably like, yeah, not really. I'm gonna go ahead and add to the. Let's see here. See, there's a lot of really intriguing players, but I think I'm gonna come up here, right, and actually add to the interior of the offensive line, go with Dominique Pooney here. Big, strong, long, athletic player, can play pretty much any guard position too. So really has the athleticism and the versatility that Ryan Poles covets. Chiefs offer, not necessarily the biggest fan. Yeah, not the biggest fan of this one here either. Nope. Sorry, Jets. Sorry, Packers. Hell no. There's something about the Packers just wanting to constantly trade with me. But adding to the what position group do we add here, right? So I do think that here, since we're picking at 141, again, a lot of versatility, but I'm gonna go with Jamari Thrash here out of Louisville. So again, just more wide receiver depth, kind of getting your gadget, do it all guy. And then here, a guy that I've kind of had my eye on, but Alabama D lineman, Justin Ebo Igby, I guess is his name, but very underrated gem. Could play either the nose or the defensive tackle in Matt Eberflus's defense, can be a 1-tech or a 3-tech. Again, those terms are kind of synonymous based on, and somewhat different based on the defensive front that you are going ahead and playing. But still, Ego Igby's kind of a hidden gem, in my opinion. All right, so here we go. We're on the clock again, and I should say this. I don't see a situation where I do think the Bears take a safety, but I'm a big fan, of building in the trenches. So I'm going to go with Isaiah Adams here. Again, underrated, could play, multiple guard spots. Really a guy that can go ahead and put himself in a position to potentially develop into a starter in a couple of years. So I don't like the Lions offer. Saints, no. Raiders, not really. Okay, see, this one is interesting, right? Because I got 193, and then this would get me an additional 6th round pick. I'm actually going to go ahead and accept this one, even though it's 2025 capital. Um, just because now if I look, right, like I've got 96 and 209. So I had 10 originally. Now I've got 110, 79, 103, 109, 122, 141, 142, 187, 196, and 209. So I got 11 total picks essentially. Oladipo from Oregon State is a player to keep an eye on that could play both safety position. He's big, fast, physical, really rangy as well. Has some pretty solid ball skills and just a high amount of potential that's popping up on tape. Okay, last pick of this draft for me here, but I've got I'm going to go with Ryan Flournoy from Southeast Missouri State. He was at the Scouting Combine. He's a local Chicago area prospect. Played at Homewood Flossmoor. So, again, a guy that's really familiar and just understands the Bears franchise, kind of what the fan base is looking for. But, if you look at this thing right here, so looking at the entire haul in general, okay, it's actually really solid here. And this is a draft where I feel like, the Bears is a team you hit on all your major needs with a handful of trade backs, right? So you've got number 1, Caleb Williams, very obvious there. Then you have number 2, Jared Ferris, really high upside, super productive pass rusher, by the way. And then you look at kind of the rest of this thing here. Let me actually hit the save button here. So we can go in and recap. And once again, I apologize with a whole bunch of ads here, but looking at this whole thing, right? Oh, there we go. Finally got this thing to zoom in. But yeah, so looking at this whole thing here, right? You look at a lot of the trades. So what you have is this, right? Is first trade, and again, I traded with New York, Carolina, Atlanta, New England, and LA, right? If you remember Ryan Pohl's first NFL draft with the Bears, he traded down left and right like crazy to kind of pick up a lot of those additional picks. But here, again, you had the 9th overall pick, and I went ahead and I traded down for 1072 and then a 6th-round pick. Okay. Here I had the 72nd overall pick, and I traded down for, knowing that I also had 75, I traded down for 101, 141, and 142. And then here with Atlanta, I had the 75th overall pick, which is a Bears own selection. And I traded down for 79, 109, 187, getting more picks in basically rounds 4 as well as 6. And then here with the Patriots, I traded down again. I traded away 101, and then I got 103 and 193. All the trades are really layered because one thing is building off another. And then here I had 193, which I got from this Patriots trade. And then I went ahead and traded it for 196, 209, and a 2025 6th-rounder. So I got, basically right now, the Bears have 3 6th-round picks according to this scenario in 2025. But just looking at this whole thing, a couple different things going on here, right? So what I have is this. Okay, so again, you get your quarterback and edge rusher of the future, and Caleb Williams and Jared Ferris. Okay, so 2 high-profile building blocks, incredibly productive college players. You then go ahead with 379. I got Jatavian Sanders, who, if you've read my scouting reports on him, you know that he's a guy that can play in the slot. He can play on the line of scrimmage. He can play kind of that true H-back role, which is actually needed in the Shane Waldron offense. And then you go ahead and you get a couple high upside guys in Devontae Walker and Brandon Dolores. Again, two guys who kind of have flown under the radar in this draft class, but have still managed to make names for themselves and could, quite frankly, be really solid rotational contributors. We know for a fact that Ryan Poles loves his offensive line depth, especially along the interior. I will say this, the reason that I took Pooney as well as Isaiah Adams is simply because you can't really rely on Tevin Jenkins to be fully healthy. You can't really rely on Nate Davis either. So just going ahead, and even with a guy like Ryan Bates on the roster, grooming guys for the future. You look at Jamari Thrash, again, kind of a speedster at wide receiver, a guy who can pretty much play any receiver position on the field, gives you a sense of versatility. Ebo Igby, I know the Bears have some solid defensive tackles in Pickens, Jervon Dexter, but let's just continue adding to the trenches right there. And then you look at Keaton Oladapo, just adding to that safety mix, pushing guys like Kendall Williamson as well as Elijah Hicks. And then, Ryan Florno, I don't expect him to be there in the 6th round, but if he is, I mean, he's a guy that I definitely would not mind the Bears taking a legit chance on as a small school, local Chicago area prospect that could, quite frankly, develop into a really solid player down the line. So before we get out of here, though, let's just go ahead and do this. Make sure that you go ahead, chime in the comments below about what you think about my mock draft, what you liked, what you didn't like, some players that you maybe would like to see, something that you maybe would have done similar. What would you have done different? Make sure that you're following me on my social media channels below. You can follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Usayd Koshul. Check out the Bear Report website in the description as well. A lot of really good content dropping there from the entire Bear Report team. That's going to be it from me. We will go ahead and I'll be dropping another simulation here at some point over the next couple of weeks. When April rolls around, I mean, I'll have 1 to 2 simulations each week, probably one on Monday and then one on a Thursday or Friday, just kind of running through as many different scenarios to consider as possible. But wherever you are, guys, bear down, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys next time.